taught my mini lesson today on the basic nutrition of animals. So I would teach this in an animal science classroom. I think that my mini teach went really well. The feedback that I received was that they really enjoyed the guided notes that I provided to go along with my PowerPoint. They said that they were very easy to follow and helpful for them to retain the information, and in a real classroom setting they would keep those notes with them and they could refer back to them as a study guide later on before the test. My biggest challenge that that I was hoping to not have to overcome, or the thing that didn't go as planned for me, was that I had to give a lot more background information to my class because they did not have any prior knowledge to animal nutrition, which was difficult for me to fit into the 15 minutes, but I think that it was important for them to grasp the concept that I was trying to teach. I don't believe that my students fully grasped the concept that I was hoping for them to grasp, but I do think that in my future classrooms with the proper background knowledge and in an actual classroom setting of animal science, they would have that background that they needed, that this activity and this lesson would flow really well throughout my class. The experience of this teaching lessons was not new for me at all. Through AgEd, we've taught a few different lessons, so it was really nice for me to teach another lesson though this year. I really enjoy it, and I genuinely think that I was born to teach. I don't know what else I would do, and so I really appreciated having the feedback from my peers. One interesting thing we do in ag education is we actually have someone record us while we teach, and so then we do a reflection based on the recording so we can see how we teach as well as the student feedback, which might be something to implement into your class. I think it would be really helpful to look back and see what we've done when doing these reflections. I do think that this lesson that I have created could be picked up and taught by someone else in the animal science world. However, I think that they would have to in some way change it or tweak it to best fit their personalities, because obviously it's fit towards my point of view and what works for me in teaching. And obviously no one else teaches exactly like I do. So I think that they would have to change it in order to make sure that they have their authentic teaching styles presented through the lesson. My problem management or my classroom management problems that came into play that were a little bit challenging for me was, one, I had a student of mine who has an allergy to peanuts, and our hands-on activity was a feed rations game where they were switching trail mix products to find their perfect feed rations. And in this product, there was peanuts, and so it made me very aware that in the future, I will obviously know their allergies beforehand, but to take into account those allergies and maybe switch the game to not include peanuts at all, or be aware year to year if I can include the peanuts or not into the allergy, or into the game pertaining to allergies. It ended up not being that big of a deal because hers isn't an airborne allergy. It's just if she were to eat them, she would have a problem, so she was able to participate in the game. My other classroom management that came into play was I had a student who did not want to participate in the activity because she had a fear of germs, and touching food that I had told them they could eat afterwards was too much for her. She didn't want to touch food that someone was potentially going to be eating, so I allowed her to not take her food out of the bag, and she could count within the bag. In the future, I guess I would provide gloves for the lesson, or have a station where they could wash their hands to hopefully alleviate some of the germ-phobic nature of the game or the activity, but I was a little bit surprised by that one. I hadn't ever thought of someone being that afraid of a germ, or not afraid, but unwilling to do something because of their fear of germs, which is a very real fear, and I accept that. And I didn't pressure her to participate, but it would have been better for her to participate fully in the activity. Um, Overall, though, I think it went well, and I definitely think that this lesson will be helpful in my future animal science classes.